Hello, everyone. Have you ever found yourself reaching for that second or even third cup of coffee just to get through the afternoon, still feeling like your get up and go got up and went? Or perhaps you've noticed a persistent tingling in your hands or feet, maybe a bit more brain fog than usual, and you've just brushed it off as, well, I'm not as young as I used to be. It's a common thought, something millions of us experience as we get older. We often think these little changes are just an inevitable part of aging, a new normal we have to accept. But what if I told you that some of these very common experiences might be linked to something surprisingly simple, something readily available, and something your body is crying out for? I'm talking about a vital nutrient, specifically vitamin B12. It's not some complicated medical treatment or a fad diet. It's a fundamental building block for your health, especially important as we navigate our golden years. The truth is, not paying attention to our B12 levels isn't just about feeling a bit tired or occasionally forgetful. Over time, a deficiency can quietly chip away at our energy, our clarity of thought, and even our mobility. It can impact our ability to enjoy daily activities, maintain our independence, and live life to the fullest. You might think, oh, another vitamin to worry about, but this one is truly a cornerstone for nerve health, making sure our brain can communicate effectively with the rest of our body, for creating healthy red blood cells that carry oxygen and energy, and for maintaining that essential vitality we all cherish. In this video, we're going to explore 5 crucial ways vitamin B12 impacts your well-being in simple, practical steps you can take to ensure you're getting enough. We'll uncover why it's so important and how you can support your body simply and effectively. Before we dive in, if this is a topic that resonates with you, or if you're keen on learning practical health tips, go ahead and click that like button right now. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell so you don't miss out on our future health discussions. All right, let's start with the first key role of vitamin B12. First up, let's talk about energy. One of the most common complaints I hear from folks our age is a persistent lack of energy or feeling fatigued, even after a good night's sleep. Why is B12 so important here? Well, vitamin B12 plays a critical role in your body's metabolism. It doesn't directly provide energy like calories do, but it's essential for converting the food you eat, the carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, into usable glucose. Think of it like the spark plug in a car. Without it, the engine can't properly use the fuel. If you're low in B12, your body can't efficiently make energy from your food, leading to that dragging, tired feeling, no matter how much you rest or how well you think you're eating. It's also vital for making red blood cells, which carry oxygen throughout your body, and without enough oxygen, your cells just can't produce the energy they need. I remember my friend Arthur, a keen gardener, who started complaining that he just didn't have the stamina for his beloved roses anymore. He'd be out for half an hour and feel completely wiped out. He'd even joke, my get up and go is got up and gone. His doctor ran some tests, and it turned out his B12 levels were quite low. After a few weeks of addressing his B12 intake through dietary changes and a supplement his doctor recommended, Arthur called me, absolutely thrilled. He said, "You wouldn't believe it, Michael. I spent 2 hours in the garden this morning, and I still had energy to take Martha out for lunch." It made such a tangible difference to his daily zest for life. So if you're constantly battling fatigue, it's worth considering if your B12 levels might be a contributing factor. Ensuring you have enough B12 can mean the difference between just getting through the day and truly enjoying it with vigor. Now, what's the next crucial area where B12 shines? Next, and this is incredibly important, is vitamin B12's role in maintaining healthy nerve function. Have you ever experienced unexplained tingling, numbness, or a pins and needles sensation, especially in your hands or feet? Or perhaps a bit of wobbliness or balance issues? Here's why B12 is key. Vitamin B12 is essential for the maintenance of the myelin sheath. Myelin is a protective fatty layer that insulates your nerve fibers, much like the coating on an electrical wire. Without sufficient B12, this myelin sheath can degrade. This means nerve signals might not travel as quickly or efficiently, leading to those neurological symptoms like tingling, numbness, difficulty with balance, and even memory issues or confusion. It's about keeping the communication lines between your brain and the rest of your body clear and strong. Ignoring this can lead to more persistent nerve issues over time. I recall a neighbor, Eleanor, a lovely lady who enjoyed her daily walks. She started mentioning that her feet often felt asleep and she was becoming a bit unsteady, which really worried her because she lived alone and feared a fall. She initially put it down to poor circulation or just old age. However, after a checkup, her doctor identified a B12 deficiency. With proper B12 supplementation, Eleanor noticed a significant improvement over a couple of months. The tingling lessened, and she felt much more confident on her feet. She even told me, "I feel like my nerves have woken up again, Michael. I'm back to my morning walks without that constant worry." This just underscores how vital B12 is for your nervous system. It's not just about comfort. It's about maintaining your mobility, your independence, and your cognitive sharpness. Before we move on, if you've ever experienced anything like this or know someone who has, let me know in the comments below with a simple yes. It helps to know we're not alone in these experiences. Our third critical point is how vitamin B12 is fundamental for creating healthy red blood cells. You might have heard of anemia, and often people think of iron, but B12 is just as crucial in preventing a specific type of anemia called megaloblastic anemia. What's the connection? Vitamin B12 is a key player in the DNA synthesis required for red blood cells to mature properly in your bone marrow. When B12 is lacking, the red blood cells can become overly large, misshapen, and fewer in number. These abnormal cells, called megaloblasts, can't carry oxygen as efficiently as healthy red blood cells. And as we know, oxygen is vital for energy and overall cell function. Symptoms of this type of anemia often include fatigue, weakness, pale skin, shortness of breath, and even heart palpitations because your heart has to work harder to circulate oxygen. Let me tell you about my cousin Robert. He'd been feeling unusually weak and out of breath just doing simple things like climbing a short flight of stairs. He's normally quite active. His wife noticed he was looking very pale. They were quite concerned. His doctor did a blood panel and discovered he had megaloblastic anemia due to a B12 deficiency, likely because as he got older, his body wasn't absorbing B12 from food as well as it used to. Once he started on B12 injections, prescribed by his doctor due to the absorption issue, the change was remarkable. Within a month or two, his color returned, his energy levels bounced back, and he wasn't getting breathless anymore. He said it was like someone had refilled his tank. So that ongoing tiredness or unexplained weakness, it might not just be a lack of sleep. It could be your body signaling that it doesn't have the right tools, like B12, to make the healthy red blood cells you need to thrive. Paying attention to B12 is paying attention to your body's very ability to oxygenate and energize itself. Let's move on to something that affects us all, especially as we age: our cognitive function and mood. Forgetting names, struggling to focus, or feeling a bit down more often than these can be worrying. How does B12 fit in here? The brain relies heavily on vitamin B12. It's involved in the synthesis of neurotransmitters, which are chemical messengers that regulate mood, like serotonin and dopamine. Low B12 levels have been linked to an increased risk of cognitive decline, memory problems, and even symptoms of depression or anxiety in some individuals. While B12 isn't a cure-all for these complex issues, ensuring adequate levels is a foundational piece of the puzzle for maintaining brain health and emotional well-being. Think of it as helping to keep the wiring and the chemical balance in your brain in good order. I have a good friend, Susan, who started to become quite forgetful and seemed a bit withdrawn, which wasn't like her at all. She was a retired teacher and prided herself on her sharp mind. Her family was concerned. During a routine checkup, her doctor decided to check her B12 levels, which turned out to be on the lower side of normal. Her doctor suggested some dietary adjustments to include more B12-rich foods and a daily supplement. Over several months, Susan and her family noticed a subtle but definite improvement. She seemed more engaged, her memory recall for recent events improved, and she had a brighter disposition. She even started her book club again, feeling more confident. She told me, "It's like a bit of the fog has lifted, Michael." It's a powerful reminder that what supports our physical body also deeply supports our mental and emotional health. Ensuring sufficient B12 is a proactive step towards keeping your mind sharp and your spirits up. If you're finding this information useful, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps others find this video. Finally, let's touch upon a less commonly known but very important role of vitamin B12, helping to regulate homocysteine levels, which has implications for heart health. You might not have heard much about homocysteine, but it's an amino acid in the blood. Why should we care about homocysteine and B12's role? High levels of homocysteine in the blood have been associated with an increased risk of heart disease and stroke. Vitamin B12, along with other B vitamins like folate and B6, helps to convert homocysteine into other substances your body needs. Essentially, B12 helps to keep homocysteine levels in check. If you're deficient in B12, homocysteine levels can rise, potentially contributing to inflammation and damage to blood vessels over time. So, while B12 isn't the only factor in heart health, it's certainly a helpful contributor to maintaining a healthier cardiovascular system. I remember reading about a community health study where they tracked older adults. One participant, George, had several risk factors for heart disease. As part of a broader health screening, his homocysteine levels were found to be elevated, and further investigation showed he was low in B12. His doctor advised him on dietary changes to boost his B12 and folate intake. Over the next year, with regular monitoring and these dietary adjustments, George's homocysteine levels came down significantly. While it was part of a larger lifestyle change, his doctor emphasized that getting his B vitamins, including B12, in order was a key component in reducing that particular risk factor. George felt good knowing he was taking active steps to protect his heart. So, adequate B12 is another piece of the puzzle in looking after your heart. It's about supporting your body's natural processes to maintain balance and reduce potential risks. We've covered a lot of ground on why B12 is so vital. Next, let's talk about how to make sure you're getting enough. So, now that we understand why vitamin B12 is so crucial, let's talk about how to ensure you're getting enough. The primary sources of vitamin B12 are animal products. This includes meat, especially liver and beef, poultry, fish like salmon, tuna, and sardines, eggs, and dairy products, milk, cheese, yogurt. If you regularly include these in your diet, you're likely getting a good amount. For example, a serving of salmon or beef can provide more than your daily B12 requirement. However, as we age, our ability to absorb B12 from food can decrease. This is often due to reduced stomach acid or the use of certain medications like those for acid reflux. This is where it gets a bit tricky. For those who eat little to no animal products, or for older adults concerned about absorption, there are other options. Many breakfast cereals, plant-based milks like soy, almond, or oat milk, and nutritional yeasts are fortified with B12. Check the labels. It's a great way to boost your intake. B12 supplements are widely available, often in forms like cyanocobalamin or methylcobalamin. They come in pills, sublingual under-the-tongue tablets, or even sprays. For those with significant absorption issues, a doctor might recommend B12 injections. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't just dismiss persistent fatigue, tingling, or memory issues as just getting older. These can be signs of B12 deficiency. Even with a good diet, absorption can be an issue. Vegans and vegetarians are at higher risk and must consciously seek out fortified foods or supplements. While B12 is generally safe, it's always best to get advice on the right dosage for you. The most important step if you suspect a B12 deficiency or are concerned about your levels, especially if you're experiencing symptoms, is to talk to your doctor. They can perform a simple blood test to check your B12 levels and recommend the best course of action for you, whether it's dietary changes, specific supplements, or further investigation. Don't self-diagnose or self-prescribe heavily. Your doctor can help determine if your B12 status is optimal and rule out other potential causes for your symptoms. So let's quickly recap. We've seen how absolutely vital vitamin B12 is for maintaining your energy levels, ensuring your nerves function smoothly, helping your body produce healthy red blood cells, supporting your cognitive abilities and mood, and even playing a role in your heart health. These aren't small things. They are fundamental to your overall quality of life, your independence, and your ability to enjoy every day. And the good news? Addressing your B12 needs is often quite straightforward. Whether it's through mindfully choosing B12-rich foods, looking for fortified options, or discussing a suitable supplement with your healthcare provider, these are accessible steps for most of us. It doesn't require a drastic overhaul of your life. Now, I know it can sometimes feel like there's always something new to consider when it comes to health, and it might be tempting to think, I feel okay for now. I'll worry about it later. But overlooking something as fundamental as vitamin B12 can, over time, lead to those nagging issues becoming more significant, potentially impacting your mobility, your clarity of thought, or simply your joy in daily living. I've seen it with friends and family. Small, unaddressed deficiencies can lead to bigger, more frustrating problems down the line, problems that could have been easily prevented or managed. But here's the empowering part. You have the ability to make choices today that will benefit your health tomorrow and for years to come. Age truly can be just a number when you're proactive about nourishing your body. It's never too late to start paying closer attention to what your body needs. You absolutely have the power to support your well-being, and ensuring you have enough vitamin B12 is a fantastic and simple place to start. As we've explored today, ensuring you have adequate vitamin B12 isn't just about avoiding deficiency, it's about actively investing in your vitality, your mental sharpness, and your overall well-being as you age. It's about keeping that spring in your step, that clarity in your thoughts, and that energy to embrace all the good things life still has to offer. Taking care of your B12 levels is a simple yet profound way to look after your precious health, helping you maintain your independence and cherish your time with loved ones. Now, I'd love to hear from you. After watching this, what was the most surprising thing you learned about vitamin B12? Or perhaps you have a personal experience with B12 that you'd be willing to share. Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comments section below. I always enjoy reading them, and it helps create a supportive community. If you found this video helpful and informative, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help our channel reach more people who could benefit from this information. And if you haven't already, please consider clicking that subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss our next video on practical health tips. Most importantly, if you know someone, a friend, a family member, a neighbor who might find this information valuable, especially if they've mentioned some of the symptoms we discussed, please share this video with them. You could be making a real difference in their well-being. Thank you so much for watching. Here's to your health, happiness, and energy. I wish you all the very best, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.